Shalom, shalom, Israel. Brother Zay, first I want to give all praise and glory to the Heavenly Father, which is Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, which is the Son. Today's topic is going to be about returning to the Most High, to our Heavenly Father, the Most High God. Because we've been led astray during captivity. We've been being with this philosophies, the so-called white man's philosophies, but Christianity, how to live. We went astray. We went all the way left from the Bible. Now it's time to come from the darkness and come to light. So let's get Joel chapter 2 and verse 27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed. So he's the Lord of Israel, the Israelites. Who's the Israelites? The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It goes by your father lineage. So if your dad's a so-called black, so-called black, Hispanic, or Native American, that makes you one too. So he's the Lord our God. Let me read that one more time, edification's sake. And you shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else. So it's saying that he's our God and none else. People think that he's the God of everybody. No, he created everybody. But what does God mean in Hebrew? It means power. He's our power. He's the most high power. So he's our God. He's our power. He's on our side. Just because you get created by something don't mean you have to be their power, their God. You feel me? Now let's get Psalms chapter 97. I'm going to give some various precepts. Because the Most High is judging this earth right now at a high rapid rate. So this Psalms chapter 97 and verse 7. Confounded be all they that serve graven images, that boast themselves of idols. Worship him, all you gods. So what's a graven image? The so-called white men put out this image with the Caesar Borgia thing, the so-called Jesus with long hair. He's a so-called white man. He looks peaceful. Look, that's nowhere found in the scriptures. Where in the scriptures does it say he's a so-called white man? You got Daniel chapter 10 and verse 5 describing him as a so-called black man. You got Revelation chapter 114 and 2:17, verse 17, describing him as a so-called black man. So that's confounding right there. So it's time to wake up and come to the Bible, because what they say if you want to hide it from a so-called black man, put it in a book. Because, hey, let's be honest, they know we don't read. But the Most High's putting it in our spirit to read now. So that's why they used to kill people reading the book. They used to kill people, hang them, just for reading the book, because they've been hiding these secrets. In the Bible, the Most High said, or the Lord said, he can't be found in the churches. He can't be found in the churches because they speak like they don't teach the right things. So now we're just drunk off these philosophies. So let's get Revelation chapter 18. Bear with me. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitations of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. So this is the point I'm trying to get to. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So what's that wine? It's a philosophy. Just not an actual cup of wine, sitting there looking at it, thinking if you want to take another sip. No, it's the philosophies, the way how you carry yourself. Everybody, all the nations come to her for, loans, businesses and everything. They go to Babylon, which is America, for everything. So, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. So who's the kings? The other nations. Britain, China, Russia, all things like that. So, yeah. Let me get this one too. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partake of her sins. So it's saying, come out of her, my people, meaning come out of her ways. Don't keep following the philosophies. Come back to your heritage. So, and that you receive none of her plagues. So if you keep doing what America, what you was taught in the world and everything, if you keep doing, like going out and partying, you know, being too caught up in the world, like going to college and all that stuff, look, you won't be destroyed and receive her plagues. Eating pork and being gay, hey, you definitely gonna receive the plagues. All right. So now let's get Revelation chapter 11. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So this place is called Sodom and Egypt, because Sodom, hey, you got a lot of homosexuals running around here, man. Hey, and they're gay pride, they proud about it. They proud about it too. You got gay pride. People might say, well, that's kind of mean saying they're gay. Look, the Lord saying it's an abomination to him. So how does that mean? It's just being straight up with them. If you're gay, you're not going to get saved. Period. And you got Egypt, because, hey, we're still in slavery right now. We got people trying to turn up every weekend talking about what's the move. Look, the move is stay your ass inside. It's a Sabbath. So let's get Romans. Let's get Romans chapter 9. Bear with me. Romans chapter 9 and verse 4. Who are Israelites, to whom pertain the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of God and the promises. So we're the Israelites, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We're the ones who have all these things. We're above all people. That's why we have to keep the commandments, because we're peculiar to the Most High. Let me get that in Deuteronomy real quick. Because when you have something like, if you're above everybody, you gotta set an example. So the Lord gave us laws to set an example. People might hate doing it. You're not supposed to hate doing it, man. You're supposed to love it. Because at the same time, it's taking care of you. Because you can't go out around here and eat anything you want. That's why we have a dietary law. You know, we have certain things we have to do to keep us healthy. Where in the Bible does it say you can eat a bat? You got the Moabites going off, talking about you can eat a bat. Now we got the coronavirus going around. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. So we're special unto the Most High. People unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So we're above everybody, above all nations, above all people. Just think about it like this. Look at sports. You know, people like to talk about sports. You got Jake talking about Kobe Bryant and everything. Look at sports. Who's always dominating the NBA? The so-called black man. You got boxing. Who's dominating in boxing? The so-called Hispanic, the so-called black man. Hey, the so-called Native American. Hey, we dominating in every sport. We even got in soccer. They say the so-called white man came up with soccer, but we dominating in that too. They can't hold us. You got football. They can't hold us. We're better in everything they can do. You got the so-called white man taking 5 pills of steroids and everything just to get to the weakest Israelite. So let's get 2nd Ezra. 2nd Ezra chapter 3 and verse 30. For I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, and hast spared wicked doers, and hast destroyed thy people, and hast preserved thy enemies, and has not signified it. I do not remember how this way be left. Are they then Babylon better than they Zion? So Ezra's seeing these things, how the wicked doers, you know, are still living good and everything. You know, they still building up their nation. They living, you know, amazing. So let me read this again. So we got the context. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 3 and verse 30. For I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, and hast spared wicked doers, and hast destroyed thy people, and hast preserved thy enemies, and hast not signified it. I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babylon better than they of Zion? Or is there any other people that knoweth thee besides Israel? Or what generation hath so believed thy covenants as Jacob? So he asking the Most, he's so complaining to the Most High, saying, are you dealing with somebody else? Are you dealing with a different nation besides us? Because you're sparing them. They doing all wicked hell, and you're not destroying them. That's why he's complaining right now, because he see the wicked prospering right now. And this is 33. And yet the reward appeareth not. So they're not going to get no reward. And their labor hath no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth, and think not upon thy commandments. So you see all the riches and everything, they have money, but in their mind, they're not thinking about the commandments. They're not thinking about keeping the Sabbath, you know? So that's why they're getting destroyed. So just because you see somebody doing good, don't marvel at that, because they got their judgment coming. Ain't no wealth, no type of money going to get you into the kingdom of heaven. Actually, it said in Matthew, it's rare for a rich man to get into the heaven, get into the kingdom of heaven. So let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 4 and verse 23. For it was not my mind to be curious of the high things, but of such as pass by us daily, namely, wherefore Israel is given up as a reproach to the heathen, and for what cause the people whom thou hast loved is giving over unto ungodly nations. So who's the people that he loved? The Israelites. We are given to godless nations, ungodly nations. They're godless. So that's why we stressing, because our spirit is not built for working a 9 to 5 every day, working for the so-called white man, breaking our back. Our spirit's not built for that. Our spirit is built for this, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. You know? So let me keep going. And while the law of our forefathers is brought to naught, and the written covenants come to none effect. So yeah, it's brought to naught. No one's keeping the commandments anymore. But now we're at a high time where we got Israelites waking up to their nationality, to their heritage. Again, this is not religion, it's our heritage, our nationality. Now let's get Psalms real quick. Let's get the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter, Lord willing, you're keeping the Sabbath. You know. The Psalms chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult. So who's the enemies? The other nations, the heathens. And they that hate thee, Salakia, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. So they lifting up their head in pride. And watch this. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and have consulted against thy hidden ones. So who his people? The Israelites. They taking crafty counsel against his people. So let's get this. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So when you got the United Nations coming all together and everything, I might think the main topic is going to be about weather pollution, you know, the ocean and everything like that. No, the main topic on their agenda is how do we cut the Israelites off from being a nation? Let's put pork in their community. No. How about we do that and put alcohol in their community to get them drunk? Ooh, how about this? Let's give women to be independent and everything, and let them not have a husband in their household or anything. Let's give them food stamps, but only if they have no husband in their household. Oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Hey, the Moabites, they even asked the Moabites go into projects and because they don't follow the dietary law. The Chinese people, they don't follow the dietary law. So they asked the Chinese people, go in the hoods, go into the projects. We're gonna give you a business loan. Put your store right there and sell them dog food. Sell them dogs, sell them cats, and bats, and they won't even know. That's what goes down to United Nations, conference and everything. It's not about weather pollution. It's not about how do we build better roads. Look, they trying to cut you off every day. That's how they meditate. Like us, we meditate how we keep the law and everything. They meditate how to keep us away from the law. It's a just balance. So let's get this. This Psalm chapter 83 verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. So again, they come together with one consent. Yes, let's do it. They're a confederate against thee, so they're all against us. But you got Jake talking about I got 2 snow bunnies right here next to me. Life is great. Look, life is not great. Next thing you know, you waking up with handcuffs and everything, about to go to jail. So let's see let's get some people who's taking part of this crafty council real quick. The tabernacles of Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white people, and the Ishmaelites, the Arabians of Moab. So who's Moab? Moab, the Moabites, the Chinese people, and the Hagarians, Jebel and Ammonites, the so-called Japanese people, and Amalek, part of Esau. Amalek is the people who own the Federal Reserves, the so-called Jews now. You know, like the Rothschild, the Rockefellers, people like them. So those are I'm just giving you the big names and everything, you know. So you gotta wake up. So now let's get another precept upon that. Let's get Psalms chapter 2 and verse 2. The kings of the earth, well, let me just read 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. You see what I'm saying? So let me read that again. Let me break it down. Let me read it and I'll break it down verse through verse. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves. So who's the kings of the earth? The other nations. China, America, UK, Russia, you know. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together. So they all come together and take counsel against us, like I just read in Psalm chapter 83. Against the Lord and say, against the Lord and against his anointing, saying, who's his anointed? The Israelites. Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. So they're trying to break us down, cast away the commandments. They don't want to keep the commandments. They want to live in wicked. Doesn't it say that their earth is given to the hands of the wicked? And then, hey, this is what the Lord gonna be. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. He gonna be laughing at them when they're in the in the conference and everything, saying, we gotta do this to keep them away from the law. Look, he's laughing at them. Because now we're waking up. And they can't do nothing about it. You can't go against the Most High. He's laughing at them. Okay, so this is Deuteronomy chapter 28. So let's get a crafty counsel real quick that kept us away from hearing about this truth. So this Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 37. And thou shalt become a astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, where the Lord shall lead thee. So what's a byword? Calling us niggers, wetbacks, Negroes. Every decade, you got Negroes. The next decade, Afro-American. Next decade, African-American. And now you just call blacks, you know, Hispanics and everything like that. It's called crafty counsel. When you keep getting your nationality changed and everything every decade, look, you gonna be like, fuck it. I don't care what they call me. I'm just gonna call myself a black person. When in reality, you're a brown-skinned dude. So how you black when black is the color? You feel me? How come people got Chinese people and they're from China? You know? You got people saying they're Caucasian and everything. They're from the Caucasus Mountain. Let me get another one. You got, I don't know. British people, they're from Britain. You feel me? But, yeah, well, I'm black. So, where you from? They don't want to say I'm Africa. Well, brother, you're not from Africa. Africans, so-called Africans and so-called blacks are not the same. The so-called Africans, their real nationality in the Bible is the Hamites. They're the one who puts in slavery, but people say the blacks put the blacks in slavery. Just because we got the same skin color and everything, don't make us the same race. Like you got the Japanese people and the Chinese people. They're not the same race. One is the Moabites, the other one's the Ammonites. You feel me? So let me give you a story. The reason why, okay, we was in Israel, dwelling in Israel. We did not keep the commandments. So we was forced out our land. We was running through the wilderness. And then when we went into Africa, the so-called white man and the Africans met us, took us captives there. And they put us on slave ships and everything. And they took us, they brought us here in America. So that's how it went down. We was not dwelling in Africa. We was dwelling in Jerusalem. We just didn't keep the commandments. We got forced out of our homeland. We was running to and fro. Then they met us out Africa and everything, put us in slavery in Africa, then brought them and did that transatlantic slave trade, Slovakia. So there's stories behind it. So again, just because we're the same race, the same color, we're not the same race. So that's enough on that. Now let's see what's gonna happen to them now. So let's get Isaiah chapter 14, verse 21. Okay, so look. Okay, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. They that do not rise nor possesses the land. Possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So if you read that, it's talking about the Edomites. So we're gonna be dashing their kids' skulls into the ground and everything. The Lord's gonna cut them off. We're gonna destroy them. Let me read this one too. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord. So that's what's gonna happen. So don't forget, who's Babylon now? America. It's a so-called white man. So I'm got that. Let's get another precept. So okay, bear with me. Let's get Book of Malachi. Look at the Book of Malachi. Chapter 1. Bear with me. But you gotta get destroyed for this. They can't just put his people in captivity and think nothing's gonna happen. Having some difficulties right now. Calm. So, just bear with me. The war's still gonna go out. So this is Book of Malachi, chapter 1. Oh my gosh. Chapter 1 and verse 1. Slovakia. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. So you read all that, it's talking about Edom. He left his mountains waste and everything. He's nothing. You feel me? Let's get Exodus chapter 15, verse 3. Cause y'all want to say that's not him. That's not Jesus. He wouldn't do that. Let's see this real quick. So this is Exodus chapter 15 and verse 3. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. So he's a man of war. He can get down with the get down. He don't mind killing people that's not keeping the commandment. He don't mind killing people that put his people in slavery. The Most High do all the killing. He's the one who be sending hitmen, which are the angels, to kill people, destroy them. You think people die just for no reason? Talking about he was a good man. He was gonna go to college and everything like that. No, the Lord took him off. Because he was doing something wicked. He was in the streets, shooting at his brothers, Talking about Jake. But now let's get Now let's get 1 Corinthians. So let's see what type of people are not going to inherit the kingdom. First Corinthians chapter 6. So okay, bear with me. So this 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse so okay, this 1 Corinthians chapter 3. Salakia, oh my gosh, Salakia. This okay, 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 9. Salakia, bear with me. I was thinking about something. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators. So what's fornicators? Having sex for or with anything. So you're gonna have sex with this person to get something out of him. You know, we're gonna have sex with something just to have sex with them, like a dog or something like that. That's disgusting. Nor adulterers. Salakia. Adulterers. So what's adulterers? Salakia. Be not deceived, neither fornicators nor idolaters. So what's idolaters? Worshiping, putting, like Kobe Bryant, people over here crying and everything, saying he's my idol. You know, he was like a god to me. Look, that's a form of that, putting something before the Most High. And what's next? Nor adulterers. So what's adulterers? People who like to sleep with other people's wives. So you see your brother, holding his wife like that, and he go to get something real quick, and you slide in with some wine, and y'all talking for a good minute, and you talking about, why don't you go to my place real quick? And now y'all doing it. Hey, y'all both gonna get put to death for that. Nor effeminate. So look, this is where in the Bible does it say the gays are not gonna get in the kingdom of heaven. This is not being mean. I don't care. Forget your feelings. I'm reading from the Bible. Nor effeminate. You can't be gay. You can't be a sissy. You can't be twitching when you walk. Look, man up. Nor abusers of themselves with mankind. So you can't abuse mankind, You just can't abuse it. You can't be into this world all the time. You actually you gotta be moderate everything. Moderate. Salakia. Nor thieves, nor covetous. So you can't desire to have another thing. You can't desire, I want what he wants, on what he has. I'm gonna get it. And you take it, hey, now you're a thief too. Nor drunkards, so you can't be drinking all the time. You feel me? Nor revilers, people who wants to always fight. If you have a friend that always want to fight, you don't want to hang out with him. He's gonna get you into trouble. Let's get an example. You got the cop and everything coming up to your window. Everything going smooth. Let's say you got drugs in the car and everything. He's like, you know what? He gets stuff, throws out. Let's let it be a warning. And you got your friend I always want to fight. Yeah, let it be a warning. That's what I thought. And now y'all going to jail, and now y'all got a drug charge in your history. So you don't want to travel with them. Nor extortioners. So what's extortioners? Hold things over someone's head. So you can't lend somebody about $10 and everything, and then 5 years later, hey bro, don't forget you owe me $10, man. Every day you owe me $10, bro. Don't forget. Look, if they're gonna pay you back, that's on them. If they're not, that's on them, and the Most High will deal with them. Shall inherit the kingdom of God. So those are the type of people who shall not inherit the kingdom of God. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 9 through 10. Because I know I was slipping up on some. So that's for edification's sake. So now let's get Sirach chapter 57. Sirach chapter 5. Salakia. This is Ecclesiasticus the Apocrypha. Bear with me. Ecclesiasticus chapter 5 and verse 7. Known as Sirach. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. So don't wait. So once you hear about this truth, look, you got till now to keep the commandments and everything, because you don't want to put it off from day to day. It's not like a thing you do around the house. I'm not really feeling it. I'll just clean up my room tomorrow. You know, I'll just go run the errands tomorrow. Look, don't put it off day to day. Once you hear about the truth, it's time to get some fringes. It's time to start keeping the commandments. You know, put off that old man quick. So let me read that again. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. So you talking about something every day, I'll just do it next week. Nothing's happening to me. Hey, you won't even make it the next week. 5 minutes later, you're dead. Now you're in the spirit world getting judged. So you never know when you're going to die. So that's why it's better for you to turn now than talking about you're going to wait next month and everything to do it. And you're already in the spirit world getting judged. So let's get Jeremiah. I meant to get this after the crafty counsel. So this is Jeremiah chapter 17. Jeremiah chapter 17. And verse 4. So this is another part of crafty counsel too. Slucky, never mind. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For you have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. Slucky, that's not a form of crafty counsel. That's my apologies. I thought it was a different precept. Let me read that again. So this is Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thy heritage. So see, it's a heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in a land which thou knowest not. So that's what we're doing right now. We're in America that we don't know at all. Our homeland is Jerusalem. You got Jake talking about some, home sweet home. Look, you're not at home. You know, you're at your enemy's house. He's taking you captive in a basement. You just got Stockholm syndrome. A bad case of it. I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in a land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. So we didn't keep the commandments and everything. We was blaspheming the Lord. So he got upset with that. Now we're in captivity. So, you know. So that's what happens. You keep the commandments. Hey, he gonna be cool with you. If you're not keeping the commandments, he gonna take you out the earth. He gonna set a hitman, a hit angel, to take you out. So this is. Let's get Job. Let's get Job chapter 14, verse 5. So this is Job chapter 14 and verse 5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his days, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So this is talking about Esau and everything. He's saying all hell breaking loose. You got earthquakes. You got World War III breaking, stirring up. You got all the other countries going against America talking about this and that. You got people trying to get Trump out of office. You got California was on fire. You have the Amazon on fire. You have locusts in Africa, a swarm of locusts. Earthquakes in Iran, Israel, Hawaii, in the Bahamas. What else? Australia burning up in fire. ICBM missiles hitting U.S. embassies. You know, a war could be happening right now. Just because you don't see it on the news don't mean it's not happening right now. What happened with the Vietnam War? They was telling the American people that they're winning the war and everything on media, but in reality, they was losing the war. They was losing. So just because you don't see it on the media doesn't mean it's not happening. That's what it means about he won't come on a day on a day that you least expected. Because all hell can be breaking loose in that Middle East right now, but we don't know it. That's why nobody knows when he's going to come. So that's why it's important to stay girded up in this truth. You know? But like he got the Israelites waking up, and that's the most important thing, the Israelites waking up. So he see all hell breaking loose, and he know he can't do anything about it. That's why he's going to start coming up with martial law, Jacob's trouble, and Slock. You got the coronavirus too, killing thousands and millions. So all hell breaking loose. It's the Most High judging the earth. So let's get Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 9. You know, so I'm just giving you various precepts on everything right now. Going here a little, there a little. Let's get Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge? So whom can a Most High teach knowledge to? Which is the truth. Whom shall he make to understand doctrine? So who will he let understand this doctrine? The truth or heritage and everything. Because not a lot of people can get this. Because the Most High has a key to people's mind who can understand this. You know? That's why people make fun of people for being out there on the highways and byways or wherever you are. Hey, you can be at school doing it. People be making fun of you saying, boy, put the book down. He's not coming. He loves everybody. Hold on, let me hold that. Let me get this real quick. Let's get 2 Peter. Is it 2 Peter? Yes. Let's get 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 12. But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed. Hold on. Speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. So they speak evil about it. They can't understand it, so they're kind of upset because they want to be on the side too, but they just can't understand it. They can't get it. You could be sitting down with a brother or sister, breaking it down for an hour and a half, and they just can't get it. They can't get it because he has the key who can understand this doctrine. You know? So let's get Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 9. So yeah, though, if you're out there, you know, handing out flyers or prophesying on the highways and byways or anything you're doing, don't be upset that you got people, you know, rebelling against you. Because it says in Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 5, it's a rebellious nation. Or so, okay, Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 9, it's a rebellious nation. So this is Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 9. So let me read that again. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. So what does it mean to be weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast? The milk is these basic scriptures like Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68 and everything like that, and drawn from the breast. You know, you gotta take it in and everything. The basic is the basics. Because when a baby is born, what's he doing? Drinking milk from the breast. That's the basics. You know? That's what he needs. You can't just go the first day in the truth. You can't just go to deep parables, deep prophecies. You can't just read Daniel and everything, because you got some deep parables and prophecies in there that you won't understand. You gotta get the basics. You gotta get the basics like Revelation chapter 1 verse 14, Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68, Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6, you know, stuff like that. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. So you can't just read just one chapter and think you can get all information about it. You gotta get precept and precept upon precept. Yeah, it's good to read line upon line, you know, a whole chapter, but again, you gotta go to other books to get that meaning, to get that exact meaning what it's talking about. Because you can say the Bible can talk about one word. It's not gonna be about the word that you think it is. Like let's see, world in John chapter 3 and verse 16. Look, it's not talking about the whole world. So you gotta go to other precepts and other books to know what it's talking about. So, yeah. Now let's get one more. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm proving everything with the Bible, with scriptures and everything. So people, I want you to put me on trial, basically. You know, cause I don't. Hey, it'll be a fool of you if you believe this without no proof. So it's not bad to put somebody on trial. You don't ask them some questions. I had some brothers and everything asking me some questions at school and everything, talking about how did Israel and everything, how did they go into captivity, blah, 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 blah. You know, testing me and everything. And I was cool with it. I gave them answers and I gave them scriptures, you know. And that's how you get your respect in this thing. Because, hey, your name means a lot. You got to get respect in this thing. Because you can't, just because you say you're an Israelite and everything, you read the Bible and everything, and you get asked a question, a basic question and everything, you don't even know it. That's why it's important to read and catch up on your knowledge and your precepts, and remember your precepts. Slakia. Let's get 1 Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 21. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. So you gotta prove all things. You can't just go talk about what you want to talk about. You gotta bring it out from the Bible. Prove all things. You know, so put people on trial. If they say they're about God and everything, put them on trial. Look on the way they carry themselves. Are they wearing their fringes? Are they being wicked, or are they being righteous? Are they keeping the commandments? When they speak to you about the Bible, are they bringing out precepts, or are they just saying what they want to say? So put them on trial. Ask them some questions. You know. So that's all I got right now. You know, Lord willing, you're in the spirit, keeping the commandments, because all hell but to break loose. You know. So I want to give a shalom to the people that's in this truth, and a shalom to the people that's just now coming into this truth, and a shalom to the people who's watching this. Shalom.